Ho ho ho, and welcome to a very special episode of Cooking with Grief. Just like The Office in 2003 and the Soviet Union in 1979, we're doing a Christmas special. You can call me Santa Chris, and I'm joined in this tortured metaphor by the elf on the shelf himself, Chris.
Season's greetings to one and all.
You sound very festive today.
Sorry, I'll try a bit like, Merry Christmas. How's that?
That's better. Of course, we're a non-denominational podcast, so if you celebrate Christmas, the Orthodox tradition, don't celebrate it at all.
In the commercial sense.
Exactly. If you're just here because you love Cooking with Grief, then hi.
Yeah, at this point, I think we could wish Merry Christmas to all of our listeners individually. And so Merry Christmas, Johnny, Merry Christmas, Jenny, and Merry Christmas, Kate.
And also Merry Christmas to any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just run through the format, which is actually slightly different to usual.
Ooh.
Well, it's still the same. It's just instead of bringing two surprising topics to share with each other that we've not heard about, we've only brought one each, and in theory, they should be Christmas themed. I hope that's not too much to ask, but we're going to try.
That is a low bar, I think.
It is, but
we will find a way to stumble into it and, spill our eggnog.
Exactly.
I hate eggnog.
I don't think I ever had eggnog.
It's not great. If you're a fan of nog...
I'm a fan of eggs, but not necessarily nog.
Right. It really, the nog does a lot of the heavy lifting.
All right.
Shall we?
Almost. Yes. Yeah. Oh. No, actually, just cut that bit out. I was going to say something and then realised. No, let's leave it. So anyway, over to you, Chris, for the first topic.
So, Chris, Christmas is all about family. At least it is according to massive corporations trying to flog us shit in the name of huge profits. And presents are, unfortunately, I guess, a big part of the festive period, from the parents fighting over the last Kurt Russell action figure on Christmas Eve, to the kids eagerly anticipating a tsunami of plastic shit on the day itself, to the people, like myself in their 20s, who have come around to the realisation that holy shit new socks are actually the best gift after all. A stocking full of gifted swag plays a big role in this time of year. So for my Christmas special topic, I looked up what was the best-selling item each Christmas for as long as we've been alive. Now, Chris, you and I are children of the 90s, a decade that saw a huge technological explosion, and spent our teenage years in the late 2000s through the rise of social media, the smartphone, and Wi-Fi enabled black pudding. So any guesses on what might be on this list? Any particularly evocative memories or nostalgic feelings that you have for specific Christmas toys?
Right, so biggest selling Christmas toys, right? I reckon something to do with Pokemon or Game Boys or something like that will play a part around the year 2000-ish. I can only assume that in the year I was born, there was a huge spike in Kurt Russell action figures sold.
To commemorate your birth, or did he do something particularly impressive in...
No, I feel like there must have been some reason why I developed a frankly unhealthy obsession with the man. Speaking of which, he's in a Christmas movie. So my Kurt Russell fact for this week is he's in a Netflix Christmas movie playing Santa Claus, but I've yet to watch it because we're obviously not recording this live on Christmas Eve.
Right. Well, in fact, in 1991, it was not any Kurt Russell-related memorabilia, but Pogs.
Oh, Pogs, I remember those.
Best-selling item 1991, small plastic discs, and they were inspired by a game that Hawaiian dairy workers played on their breaks, where they tossed milk bottle tops.
So a load of Hawaiian dairy workers came up with a good idea, and I'm guessing then a major corporation came and stole the idea, and they got none
ding,
of
ding,
it.
Ding, ding! Local tradition stolen by corporate greed. Merry Christmas, everyone. In 1992, it was the Barney talking doll, the sort of weird purple dinosaur thing
Purple
that
dinosaur,
plagued
yeah.
kids' TV for a while. In 1993 and 4, taking the title 2 years in a row, it was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers action toy.
Oh, nice.
And the green one was the best-selling.
Well, the green one was pretty badass because he had like a flute and then he'd like play it somehow through his helmet.
Not often you hear the words badass and flute in the same sentence.
Well, it's because when you played this flute, which was basically looked like a knife, if I recall correctly, but then doubled up as a flute, and then somehow he'd play it despite the fact that he's blowing through a helmet, and then this massive like dragon thing, dinosaur thing would come out of a lake.
That is quite cool. In 1995, it was Beanie Babies.
Oh, I remember that. Everyone thought if they bought a Beanie Baby, it would somehow be worth a lot more. I don't know how that rumor came, like that it was an investment or something.
Yeah, despite the fact they gave them away free in like McDonald's meals and stuff. Like,
So I just want to put in my prediction. I reckon Furbies are going to make an appearance on this list.
in 1996, it was Tickle Me Elmo, the lovable red monster thing, and this toy shook vigorously when you tickled it.
Something we can all relate to, I guess.
In 1997, it was the Tamagotchi.
Oh, mine always died.
I'm sure now you can get it on an app.
Probably.
You are right. In 1998, it was the Furby, quite possibly
Boom.
the creepiest toy, particularly when, like, have you seen videos now where they're, like, running out of life and they're all, like, making demented sounds?
No, but that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, it is pretty creepy. In 1999, you were right, it was Pokemon cards.
Boom.
Like, of all of them so far, is the one that had the biggest impact in my life, because suddenly, like, everyone had them at school. There were, like, stock exchange level sort of trades going on at break time because someone had found a shiny electric squirrel or whatever it was called. In 2000, it was the Razor scooter, the bane of exposed ankles everywhere. In 2001, it was Bratz, the sort of Barbie-like doll.
Yeah.
In both 2002 and 3, it was the Beyblade.
Oh, I remember that.
Like a sort of yo-yo on crack, where you, like,
Yeah.
round it up and they fight each other. And they're, like, little spinning tops, but with, like, serrated edges. Not serrated. Like, that would be a terrible idea for kids' presents.
But yeah, they're supposed to bounce into each other and then one would win.
That would get you all the credibility in the world. In 2004, it was the Robo Sapiens, a 14-inch tall, remote-controlled robot dinosaur thing. But in 2005, it was the Xbox 360, the revolutionary console system.
Was that out in 2005?
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I didn't think it was that old.
Yeah. And the first, the models plagued by the red ring of death when it would overheat, and there was always like rumours that you had to like wrap it in a wet towel to cool it down and all that shit just to get your thing to work.
I was always Team PlayStation anyway.
Well, the following year must have been your year because it was the PlayStation 3 that dominated the Christmas sales that year.
I'm just thinking, I definitely didn't get PlayStation 3 until university. Yeah, I was still on PlayStation 2 then, yeah.
2007, it was the iPod Touch, like an iPhone, but without the ability to make calls. So pretty much how I use my iPhone these days. It had a tiny 8 gig memory. In 2008, it was the Elmo Live, a return for the cheeky
Elmo's
red
back.
fella.
It's like a reboot.
Yeah, he's back with a vengeance. The sequel's always more disappointing.
I was going to say, it's like a long-awaited sequel, like Blade Runner 2049 or something.
But with Elmo.
We've waited 15 years for Elmo.
This time he stands up because we've mastered leg technology.
What's his opinion on tickling?
The following year, in 2009, it was the Nook e-reader, the first really big Kindle-like product. So that's where sort of e-readers start coming into the mainstream. And the following year, in 2010, it was the iPad.
So the iPhone wasn't on the list then, because it went from... The iPhone came out in between the iPod Touch and the...
I don't know if it was as much of a specifically
iPad.
Christmas thing. Like, I think they brought it out mid-year, and that's when people bought it, maybe, so people were buying stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know, getting someone... do people get phones for Christmas? I guess they must do.
I remember the iPad thing, everyone was wondering what it was going to be called, and everyone thought it was going to be called the iSlate. And then in hindsight, it's weird that that ever was rumoured, because it's like, we have something called the iPod, and now we have a pad version of it. It's like, oh yeah, iPad, that makes perfect sense. Why would you ever consider iSlate?
Whereas, yeah, the iSlate to go with the iAbacus. And then in 2011, and picking up his hat trick in 2011, it's Let's Rock Elmo. This time he plays bongos. That's sort of it, really, but,
Fair enough.
In 2012, it was the Wii U.
Oh, that everyone went mental for it. Oh no, wait, Wii U. No, I was thinking of the Wii, the first one. I don't know anybody who got a Wii U.
Yeah, maybe younger people.
That's true.
2013, he's back with a fourth win. It's Big's Hug Elmo.
This man is just unstoppable.
Elmo has dominated for decades now. This one has arms that hug you.
Oh, that sounds weird.
And now we're at the point where I have no contact with younger people, so from here on out, it is just meaningless plastic garbage to me. In 2014, it's like an action figure of Elsa from Frozen. It's Disney's Frozen Snow Glow Elsa doll. The following year, in 2015, it was the Sphero BB-8 top, a sort of Star Wars toy that roamed around. The curveball is 2016 with the NES Classic, the re-release of the 1983 Nintendo console. They re-released it and then shelved it, and apparently it sold well.
That's good.
And it played a load of old retro games, because I guess nostalgia equals cha-ching these days. In 2017, it was, and I've not written it down, which is bad planning, but it was a robot thing. It says toy robot that looks a bit like Wall-E. Who gives a shit? It's for kids. And sorry.
Very professional.
Yep. Nothing else on this podcast. And then, is your finger on the pulse? What is predicted to be the best-selling Christmas toy of 2018? Do you know anyone, like any kids?
No. So I have no idea.
They're called fingerlings, and they're
I don't even want to know what
they're finger puppets.
Right.
Because apparently...
Well, that's good to know.
But they're all singing and dancing finger puppets. Literally, they sing, swing, sleep, and talk to you, and they look creepy as fuck. They're like, what are them things that you used to put on the end of pencils? And they've got
I know
like the troll faces. It looks like that, but if it was a monkey and it goes on your finger.
Ooh.
But what kid wants fucking finger puppets? But then who wanted
3 different versions of Elmo?
So there we go. What can we learn from this, apart from the fact that Elmo has got an absolute ironclad grip on kids' toys for at least 20 years?
Yeah, I think that's the main takeaway.
So that's my festive tidbit. What have you brought to the table to go alongside the turkey and all other things that people eat at Christmas?
Just going to say it, turkey is overrated. Anyway, that was not my fact.
That's it. Thanks very much. That's all we've got time for. So I'll be off. America. Oh wait, there's more.
So when was Jesus born?
For me, he's born again every day with every sunrise.
Not for you. Just empirically. So in the Bible, the only reference to when what time of year he was born was it mentions lambing season once. That's the only time. So much like how we don't know his exact size, we also don't know exactly when he was born. And yet, obviously, December 25th is what we've settled on to celebrate it. Obviously, there's multiple reasons why they chose, the winter solstice. But one of the reasons people think that might have been the case is because of the Romans and their existing festival of Saturnalia. So what they think happened was Saturnalia, which I'll go into in a moment, was an existing and popular festival. And when Constantine converted to Christianity and made it the official religion, nobody wanted to go and try and when you're changing everybody's religion, you want to you don't want to upset them. You want them to go.
Yeah, and you certainly don't want to take away the day off.
Exactly. And in Saturnalia's case, it was a full week off. So they didn't want to ban it. So they just sort of went, well, Jesus is born on the same time, so you can just do the same things. Because basically, so they say it was originally Saturnalia itself was originally meant to celebrate the harvest, and then it just got moved to later in the year and became it was basically a week of getting boozy. Seriousness was banned. So literally, you weren't allowed to give a lecture unless it was witty and funny. So, we'd be fine.
Well, our critics and my own self-doubt would disagree,
exactly. But yeah, they'd get absolutely trolled on wine. Drinking and gambling and lavish meals were encouraged. They decorate doors and buildings with wreaths. And then there was also meant to be a bit of role reversal, so the people on top of society would be on the bottom for a little bit and stuff. So they'd have meals where the slaves would be at the head of the table and be served by their masters.
Like Boxing Day.
When have you ever had slaves at Boxing Day?
No, hang on. Okay, whoa. Let me clarify. Isn't Boxing Day also like in the army and stuff when the officers prepare meals for the troops, like rank and file soldiers?
I honestly can't argue one way or another with that statement. But yeah, no, maybe that could well be where it comes from. If that is, so there's just some other bits that harken back to Christianity. Or harken forward. So yeah, so it would take place between the 17th of December and the 24th of December. And on the 25th, there was a separate festival, which was called the Dies Solis Invicti, which is basically the sun god Sol. It was his birthday. And so they'd celebrate that. Obviously, they tended to worship Sol above all others by this stage in the Roman history. So it was quite an easy thing to go, okay, well now instead of this god, it's this god. And on the 23rd, there was the Sigillaria, which was when they'd exchange gifts. So you can see how all the very disparate strands of Christmas tradition, a lot of them got tied up together.
So you're saying it's like Christmas is a copy and paste of
it was
various things.
Yeah.
It's like the easiest way to just sort of transpose pre-existing traditions.
Which is often the way with these things. I mean, because a lot of the later traditions, like the Christmas trees and mistletoe and stuff, come from Nordic and Germanic traditions. Because again, it's easier to just be like, it's the same, but slightly different, than it is to be like, nope, no holidays. Here's a related bonus fact for you, which whilst I was...
Ooh, you spoilers.
Whilst I was researching this, I thought I'd get some other... I stumbled across some other facts that I thought would be interesting, but couldn't carry a whole topic. So I don't know if you've heard of Denny's diner chain in America.
Yeah, bad food at bad prices.
I don't think that's their official slogan.
Oh, bad food at good prices.
Yeah. Well,
or if they're willing to sponsor us.
Their old slogan was always open, and they were literally open 24/7, 365 days a year. And then in 1988, they were closed I think it was new ownership took over and wanted to give employees Christmas off. So they closed.
Boo!
They closed on Christmas Day for the first time ever in 1988. But most of the stores, because they were open 24/7, they'd never actually installed locks on the door. Or in some cases they did have locks, but nobody had looked at, nobody had used them for decades, so they lost the keys and nobody knew where they were. So they needed to install 700 new locks.
But the new owner's going, who the fuck have we bought? What sort of antiquated people can't lock a door?
Exactly. Well, wouldn't have had that problem during Saturnalia because everyone would have just got drunk and...
Is this your campaign to bring Saturnalia back?
Thank you for crossing it off.
No, not Christmas cracker jokes. We want rude jokes.
Oh, that's one thing that some people think maybe. It's a bit of a stretch, but I read some people did suggest that maybe the whole tradition of cracker jokes and jokes at Christmas may have stemmed from the fact that, like say, Saturnalia, they banned seriousness.
That makes sense. I read a thing that it's better in terms of like the family dynamic, everyone coming together at Christmas. It's better for Christmas cracker jokes to be bad than good, because if they're universally bad, then it unites people against the joke. If some people think it's a good joke and other people don't get it, a joke is then divisive.
Oh, so you're really saying cracker jokes are deliberately bad and they're actually doing everyone a public service?
And I swear I'm doing the same thing.
So that means penguins then should just be distributed around the world to bring harmony. Penguin bars, that is not like the chocolate bars that had a joke on the back.
Where the fuck are you going with this?
I'm just dropping off like large aquatic birds.
Oh, here's your government issued penguin.
No, I meant the penguin chocolate bars had the bad jokes on the back.
Oh, right. I thought, they're a fine snack, but there are people, diabetics are going to complain. People who are lactose intolerant aren't going to like the milk element of the milk chocolate. Oh, yeah, they've got jokes on them.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Do we need to explain that for international listeners, or penguin bars universal?
Well, they should be universal, whether or not they are.
In your mad dystopia, then everyone will get a live penguin that will read bad jokes at gunpoint.
Yes. No, wait, what? No.
It's a compromise.
Okay. So that sums up the Saturnalia. Penguin bars. I think that's us done on this Christmas special episode of Cooking with Grief. I hope you've enjoyed learning about Elmo and drunk Romans. Pick up a penguin bar. Also, pick up a penguin bar to give it its proper slogan. Yeah, so we wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Kwanzaa, any other religious holidays around this time of year. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody. I mean, I'd probably just have with the Kwanzaa thing, but...
Whatever you're doing, I hope you have fun doing it.
Exactly.
And if you don't do anything at all for whatever reason, or if you're not going to be around family or friends, then I hope you have a lovely time and you stay safe.
Yeah, exactly. And for everyone else, fill yourself with copious amounts of food and spend all of Boxing Day regretting all of it.
Yeah, and if you work in retail...
Oh, yeah.
Just stay strong, my brothers and sisters. This is not the year we go on a rampage.
That's next year.
What an ominous foreshadowing to the Christmas special next year. You'll have to wait a whole year for that when I've got blood on my hands.
Okay, well, see you soon.
See you soon. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Bye-bye.
Christmas. Bye.
Okay, we can stop the jovial act now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Cooking with Grief. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to recommend it to a friend. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email cookingwithgrief@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter. That's @cookingwithgrief. If you'd like to hear more episodes, then please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you've got the time, then it'd be great if you could leave us a review on iTunes. Thank you.